And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the Jeff Mara Podcast. Here's Jeff.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Saturday Night Podcast. And let me sort something out here. I think I'm live. I was kind of having problems starting something on my computer here, and I'm still having problems on one little part of my computer, so I can see the live stream. And I can see that, okay, I can at least look from over at my wife's computers from here and know that I'm live so that I am with you guys. But let me see if I can just fix this real quick so I can be able to see your questions for the guests as we're going. Otherwise, I guess I could keep it like this, but the audience says that they don't like seeing the chat on the side. And I don't know what's going on right now, but if I can just get it, give me a few moments here, and maybe I'll have it set up and working. And it's not working. It's so well. I'll have to keep it like this for tonight. So for the people who don't like with it, I'm just going to have to deal with it because that's all I can do as far as checking the chat. All right, so let's move on. Before we bring in our first guest, I want to welcome everybody here. We have two brand new guests tonight, two people that you guys most likely have never seen. And our first guest is Tammy Mastroberte. She is a best-selling and award-winning author, spiritual teacher, and wellness expert. Let me turn this on too, so I can have a little background music. There we go. Her mission is to help people use the simple and practical tools that are right at their fingertips to thrive in everyday life and create positive changes. Tammy's upcoming book, The Higher Method, Stop Trying to Manifest and Let the Universe Guide You, is a powerful guide for creating the fulfilling life we all strive for. Using a variety of tools such as meditation and shifting your mindset to gain clarity in the moments we need it the most. Tammy's first book, we'll leave that to later. All right, so she's saying stop trying to manifest, which is going to be interesting to talk about because we talk about manifesting so much. So I'm curious to get her point of view on what's going on. Before I also bring her in, I just want to let you know down in the description below, there's links to my Facebook page, links to my personal Facebook page and our podcast page. You're welcome to friend me. My name is Jeff Reynolds. Mara is my beloved wife. So the podcast is named after both of us, Jeff Mara. And then there's links to our other channels as well. And we have a new cooking video up. You haven't seen that, or you may have seen it, about banana cookies. So that is there. Anyways, let's bring Tammy in and go from there. Let's see. Now that I have it this way. No, I don't want to do that. Where is it? I got to shift this around a little bit higher. There it is. All right, participants. There she is. Admit. Tammy, are you there?
I am. How are you?
Great. How are you? Welcome.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. We are excited to have you. And I'm especially excited because we talk about manifesting so much. But from what I am learning about you, you're saying don't manifest. You do meditation or something else, right?
No, I still teach manifestation. Manifestation is a very real thing. You're manifesting all the time, whether you're consciously doing it or not.
Yeah.
What I have found, and what I found for me and what I found for so many people, is that the key word in that is trying. Because we are trying so hard and we are trying to do all the things. And then when they don't work out, or it doesn't seem to be working in our favor, we wind up getting frustrated. We wind up beating ourselves up. What are we doing wrong? Why is it working for my neighbors or my friends, but I must be doing something wrong? And the biggest thing is we're trying so hard that we're blocking things. And we're also trying to do it on our own when we can actually tap into this all-knowing energy, universe, spirit, source, whatever you want to call it, that can assist us and make the process so much easier so we don't have to try so hard.
All right, that sounds great. In theory, at least so far. Well, you created something called the higher method.
The
What
higher help
the
method.
higher help method? Is this what you're talking about? And if so, what is it?
Yes. So I've done all the things like I think everybody else has done in terms of trying to manifest. And what I have found consistently in my life is that when things flowed easier for me, when I got answers quicker, when I was able to solve problems faster, or when I was able to head in the right direction that I needed to go, that helped me quicker, I found it always came back to me not trying to do it by myself and me asking the universe for help and learning how to utilize the energy that is around us all of the time. So, the higher help method is a 4 step process or a 4 step method that people can easily follow, that engages the universe and the energy of the universe to partner with us to make the process of manifesting, solving problems, finding a solution easier for you to do. It just kind of takes the stress off of I'm doing this by myself. It's not working. I don't know what to do. Because the more stressed out we get, the more that we're focused on the fact that we don't have what we want yet, and then turning it around to ourselves and saying like I must be doing something wrong, and then that brings up more stress, the less likely you're going to be able to create what it is you want to create or find a solution to a problem that you're trying to solve, because when you are in stress, you're blocking everything. There's no solutions found in that. There's nothing easy that comes from that. But when you can step out of that and shift your energy into a better space and realize I'm not doing this by myself, the process is easier. So it's really a 4 step process that I created that sort of helps you partner with the universe so you're not going it alone, basically.
Now, when you say that you're partnering with the universe, are you saying perhaps like connecting with the unified field of all information, which some people
Yes.
encounter during near-death experiences?
Absolutely, because we all have access to that, and on that level, tapping into, I call it sort of tapping into the higher helpline of the universe, right? So it's tapping into that energy, it's tapping into angels, it's tapping into gods and goddesses and ascended masters. I call them all higher helpers that we can engage with, that we can communicate with us, and that are communicating back to us when we learn how to open up to those signs. And it's tapping into that. It's asking for assistance. It's asking for the guidance. It's asking, saying, here's what I'm trying to solve, or here's what I'm trying to create. Can you help me get to where I need to go to achieve this or something even more extraordinary, because they have access to information we don't, right? On our in our conscious mind. And so yes, in essence it is tapping into that field consciously, because we're doing it all of the time whether we realize it or not, but about when we can get conscious about it and ask them, "Hey, can you help guide me?" That's when all of the sudden the ideas that came out of nowhere pop into our head and we're like, "Why didn't I think of that before? That might work for this." Or all of a sudden we overhear a conversation and somebody has the exact answer that we need, or somebody has the next clue on our path that's going to lead us closer to what we want. And so that's how the universe sort of answers us, through ideas, through signs, through synchronicities, through chance meetings, through coincidences, which I don't believe there are coincidences. I believe everything is happening for a reason. But it's really learning how to engage with that force and with those higher helpers to assist us in moving forward faster and with more ease.
All right, how did you figure all this stuff out? As well as, can you share with us some of your own successes with this non, I don't know whether what the best word is, but not forcing manifestation and allowing it to happen?
Yes. So, how did I figure it out? Honestly, it was through my own struggle. It was through my own being stuck. There was a point where that I talk about in the higher help method that I was stuck in almost every area of my life. Nothing was going right. Nothing was moving forward. And I just was like kind of at rock bottom. I had left a job that I was paid well for. I was an editor in a magazine in New York City, but I wanted to start my own business. And it really started from me saying a prayer after a meditation one day and just saying like, I need the business that I'm creating to work. I need to be bringing in more money. I need direction. I have no idea what I've been trying this on my own. I'm doing all the things we're supposed to be doing. Nothing is happening. And I just threw it over and said, send me the signs, send me the synchronicities, help me recognize them when they arrive so that I can act on them. And I just started saying that prayer every day for like maybe a week, 2 weeks. And I started seeing things come into my conscious awareness. I started seeing the breadcrumbs leading me to where I needed to go. And basically, it led me to create my own online summit that I still do every year. It's in the middle, it's ending now, but I run it every January through April. It's called Living an Elevated Existence Summit. And I had originally started my business as just an online magazine, but it wasn't really bringing in the money. And as soon as I started asking for help, I got an email to join a summit that was like a whole different summit. It was like this prosperity summit. And I joined it because I was like, I need prosperity. But then I realized, wait a second, I'm not supposed to be watching this to learn about prosperity. I'm supposed to be watching this because I can replicate this and do this in my world. I can create a summit like this. And then the universe lined me up perfectly with a person to help me who I reached out to randomly, and she helped me create the summit. And I wound up bringing in more money in that one event that I did. This was back in like 2011 than I had since I had started my business in 4 years. And so that sort of started me off on, oh, wait a second, there's something with asking the universe for help and to point me in the right direction that just made this process easier. It started dropping all these signs in and was saying like, oh, okay, you want help? Let's go. So that's where it really started. And it really goes back to me. I grew up Catholic, and I grew up really with a mother who was always saying to me like, oh, pray to this particular saint for this. Or like when I grew up, if you lost something, you prayed to Saint Anthony because Saint Anthony would help you find it. There were certain things like that. So I grew up with that mindset. And so as I went on in my own life, I started sort of uncovering different tools and trying different tools that were helping me to create things, to solve problems so much easier than when I was just trying to figure it out with my own brain. And that's really the method has just come from trial and error in my own life and then seeing things work and then putting it together for people who are saying, why is my manifesting not working? Why is this so difficult? What am I doing wrong? I don't understand because I kept hearing that. But another really good example of how I use the method, and this was just a couple of years ago, was I was trying to rebrand my business at the time. And I had tried multiple times to do so on my own in mastermind groups with other human beings trying to come up with things, and it just wasn't working. And I had gotten myself to a point where I was very stressed about it. And I'm like, I know I need to do something. And I was like, I can't figure it out. I don't know what to do. I can't get out of my own way. I'm just going to create a prayer. So I pulled from all the lists of higher helpers in all different belief systems that I've been accumulating for years. And I put a prayer together and I asked these higher helpers, here's what I'm trying to achieve. Can you help me? I'm taking a step back. I'm going to stop trying to figure it out because it's getting me nowhere. I need higher help with this. Again, I started saying that prayer every day. And within a week or so, I got an email from somebody who I had been working, like having her email for years, the poor thing. And I hadn't opened one in a long time, but I still was getting her emails. So something made me open that email. And I was looking at the email and it was about copywriting. And I thought, I don't want to buy her program or whatever she was emailing about, but like she seems interesting. Maybe I could use her or do something, in the future. So I decided to just follow her on Instagram, which I did. And maybe a couple of days later, after following her on Instagram, I happened to see one of her stories, right, within the 24 hours before it expired. And in that story, this copywriter was talking and tagging a woman that she was working with to rebrand her business. And I thought, oh my my gosh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody to help me rebrand my business. And so I stopped and I started looking at this woman and I wound up reaching out to her because I thought, well, maybe she can help me. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if she's in the spiritual field or what she works with. This woman is copywriting, but I'm just going to try it. And so I wound up reaching out to her and she got back to me and it turns out she used to do writing for a spiritual publisher. She was so excited to hear from me. We wound up working together and it was the best experience. And I had been trying for years to figure out what to do. And within a matter of weeks, the universe pointed me to the perfect person. So that's just sort of one example that I can give you from my own life about using this method and how things just start lining up for you.
How do we connect with that unified field? Because I think we all want to do that and we talk about it, but I'd like to hear from you, how do we make that connection? Is it just as simple as putting the prayer out there, or are you actually, meditating or something where you're actually in communication with it in real
Yes.
time?
Yes. So saying the prayer is sort of a way of communicating consciously with it because the prayer sets your intention, which is a powerful force in this world, and it's a way of consciously communicating with it. To sort of to ask for the help. It's sort of the second step in the higher help method is asking for the help. And so prayer is one tool for that. I talk about using crystals and gemstones in certain areas of your house via via feng shui to harness energy. I talk about specific rituals that you can do to focus your intention. So there's different ways that we can ask for the help and harness the energy. And then the third step in the process is actually shifting your energy and opening yourself up to being more open to some of these signs that are coming in, right? Because I've had people, and my first book was all about opening yourself up to these signs, opening yourself up to the communication. So you can communicate consciously without meditating very easily. The universe is listening, your angels are listening, your loved ones on the other side are listening. If you want to go deeper, what I teach people to do is start with what I call mini meditations. And that's an easy way to shift your energy. So instead of, especially for people who say, I cannot sit and meditate for more than 5 minutes. My brain is all over the place. Like it stresses me out more than if I didn't meditate. And so I tell people starting with those mini meditations, learning what it feels like to be present, to be quiet, to be open, because those signs and those communications from the universe are happening in the present moment. And if we are distracted by the chaos that is around us everywhere, every day, and we all have it, then it's harder to be present and be in communication. So just starting with 60 seconds to 3 minutes a few times a day, where you're just closing your eyes and repeating a mantra. I say you could use the word release, which is I like because it helps you release stress. You can repeat any word that makes you feel good. You could repeat phrases like all is well, I am safe. And it just brings you back to that present moment. And the more that you can quiet things down, the more that the idea gets through, the more that you notice, hey, somebody's having a conversation in line at the Starbucks that could maybe have an answer for me. Or, hey, this is the third or fourth time that I heard about yoga in the past couple weeks. Maybe I should look into this. Or the name of a book. Maybe I should get this book. So it starts with just kind of slowing yourself down in these little moments so that you can become more open. And if you do well with that, then there's a lot of other sort of techniques that you can do. I teach automatic writing. I teach a lot of different things where you can sort of communicate directly with guides, with the universe itself. But it really starts with just becoming a little more present with yourself so that you're more open to those subtle energies around you.
Now, when you are referring to your higher helpers, you're referring to your guides, you said angels, family on the other side. Anybody else?
Yes. So for higher helpers, I kind of transcend all different religions and all different belief systems, and I even go beyond that. So the higher helpers that I talk about are people or beings that specialize in different things, right? So we all have specific angels and specific guides that work with us. However, we all have access to these other beings. So I'm talking about goddesses, whether it's a Hindu goddess, a German goddess, Irish god, there's some Roman goddesses. I'm talking about gods, goddesses, ascended masters, saints in the Catholic faith, archangels, all of the different sort of what I call higher helpers that are available to you no matter what background or belief system you have. And I give people the lists that I've been creating over the years. And I say, you ask and work with whoever resonates with you. Because let's say you're looking for money help. There are Catholic saints that can help you. There are goddesses that can help you. There are archangels that can help you. I like putting them all together and saying, hey, can you guys work together on my behalf? But you choose who resonates with you. The other thing about higher helpers is I really go outside the box with this. And I always say to people, you can call on anybody on the other side, whether you have known them or not, and ask for their help. Because once we sort of leave this physical body and go into that other realm, we're all sort of connected. There's no separation. Everything is one. And so I've had people try this. I had a client once who was a photographer and was having trouble with her camera. And she struggled for 2 weeks, had a session and a class with me and said, well, you said I could call on anybody. So I called on the founder of Eastman Kodak and I said, listen, I need help with this camera, right? Like it's not working. And so she's like, so I did it. And after I've been struggling for 2 weeks, in 2 hours, I thought of something I hadn't thought of before and it fixed my camera. So I tell people, listen, who doesn't have, I have Apple products all over the place. If I have a problem, you better believe I'm going to ask Steve Jobs, who's on the other side, like, what's wrong with my iPhone? If you are, an actor in comedy and you're going in for an audition, ask Lucille Ball to go in with you, right? So yes, higher helpers are these angelic beings and all of that, but you can call on anybody. If you're struggling with money, let's say you're trying to figure out where to invest your money, ask JP Morgan. Who better to help you figure out something with money? So to me, it transcends just these spiritual beings and goes into just higher beings on the other side that can assist you. And you can call on anybody, whoever resonates with you. They specialize just like in the world, the physical world, we have people who specialize in different things. It's the same thing on the other side. And so you're going to call in who specializes in the area you're stuck.
Well, I love that. So, and I have a lot of Apple stuff. So the next time I'm having problems, I'm going to say, Steve Jobs, wherever you are, help me figure this out.
Correct. And then you got to email me and let me know how it goes.
All right.
Okay.
What was I going to say? Oh, so is it very important to be really, really clear on what you want and be specific? Like if you want, I'm sure many people or everybody says, I want to make more money, you know what I mean? But that's just such a blanket statement, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to be clear on how you want to get it and how much you want and things like that. So is the clarity necessary?
Yes, the clarity, actually, clarity and intention are the first step of the method. And when I say clarity, you want to give the universe a jumping off point, okay? You don't have to be super specific to the point of, I am trying to attract a partner that is such and such height and lives here and blah blah blah. Like you don't want to be too specific because that's actually not great because then you're only focused on that and you're going to miss the signs pointing you in another direction or completely ignore them because it doesn't fit your mold. But you do need to have clarity. So what I tell people is I have a clarity formula. It's super easy. All you have to do is look at the area of your life you're stuck in. So whether it's money and abundance, whether it's career, whether it's your health and healing, parenting, whatever's going on, you look at the area of your life you're stuck in and you ask yourself, what do I not like about this right now? What is going on that I don't like? And most people can give you a long list of what they don't like, of what's going on, of what's making them unhappy. Most people are super clear on that already. So we start there. Like, what don't you like about this situation? Then when you get all that off your chest, you say to yourself, well, what would I like to see or experience instead of that? And it can be as simple as I'm working at this job that I don't like and I don't feel fulfilled or I hate my boss. I mean, it can be specific, whatever it is, they don't pay me enough money. And you can literally get clear and start with, I want to work in a place that respects me, that pays me X amount of dollars or more per year, and that I wake up excited to go to. That can be your clarity. You don't have to be specific. I always say, like, if you're a nurse, don't be like, I only want to work in a hospital. Because what if there's an amazing clinic that is going to pay you more, that you are going to love, and that you're going to wind up meeting your husband or wife at because you worked there, right? Don't close the door on things. So yes, you have to have clarity because you need to give the universe a jumping off point. And in that clarity, you always need to add, I would like to create X, Y, and Z, or something better. And you add that or something better or something more extraordinary or something that's going to make me happier that I haven't thought of. And you allow the universe to take hold of that intention, but then take you wherever you might want to go. And you need to be open to it because there's so many times, if you think back, even in your own life or anybody that's listening, where you really thought you wanted something like, I want this person, I need to marry this person, it needs to work out with this, or I want this particular thing, and it doesn't work out, but you wind up somewhere better, or you wind up with someone where you're like, thank God I didn't wind up with that person. And the universe knows the things that you don't know. So have clarity, but always be open to being led to somewhere that could be more amazing than you can think of, or that you have the pieces of knowing at the moment, because the universe knows everything, right? It's an infinite field of intelligence. It knows all. So you have to be there. But clarity is important because otherwise it's like sort of, getting into a taxi cab and not telling the driver where you want to go. Like, he's just going to drive you in circles until you tell him where you want to go, right? So it's sort of like you need to have it, but then you also need to be open to something better.
Now, earlier I thought you said that you would say this prayer every day, I think for
Yes.
a week or two. So,
Mhm.
do we say the prayer every day and connect with the energetic field every day, or do we need to just do that once?
So the way that I do it and the way that I teach people to do it is, as long as you are working on a particular area and asking for help, you are going to say the prayer every day. Number one, you're calling in your helpers, right? And you can add, if you say a prayer every day, I actually have a morning prayer that I talk to people about. It's that they can get on my website, and it has an intention section, right? So you can say a prayer every day for something you're working on, but then add in like, well, I have this meetings, but I could use assistance with this, or, I'm going to this party and I'm going to see so and so, so I could use assistance with this. Like, you can add in daily things, but saying the prayer every day enacts your higher helpers, reminds you that they're on it and I can trust, and reminds you to open yourself up to the signs that they're going to be sending. But it also sort of sets your intention and reminds you of that intention every day. So do you need to say the prayer every day to remind your higher helpers or to remind the universe? No. But it sort of enacts the energy in your life again. It opens up your intention, and it keeps the energy flowing, not just throughout that day, but as we're going. And even in rituals that I tell people to do, maybe in the book, I have rituals that are like done for 9 days. Some of them are done for 40 days, but every day you might set up the ritual. Maybe you're using crystals or whatever. Maybe you're writing an intention, but you're saying that prayer every day to sort of keep that energy flowing for yourself as well as outside of you.
One of the things is I'm trying to think about, or one of the things I'm thinking about is how much is too much where we get into the level of forcing manifestation.
Right. You do not want to force manifestation. And that's why there has to be that letting go piece of it, right? So saying the prayer is just sort of realigning your energy, bringing in the energy. But then when that prayer is done, you let it go. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about it. You know that they are on it, and you just open yourself up to the signs and just know something amazing is coming. I'm being directed to something. This is going to work. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see it. And then you're not trying so hard. You're not thinking, I need to say this affirmation for 5 minutes, and I need to do this, and I need to visualize for this long. Not that those things don't work, but sometimes they cause more stress than not. And that's really not letting go, because you're gripping on, right? That's where that something better comes, because you're asking for help to create this. You're setting it out into the universe. You're waiting for the breadcrumbs to drop, but you're letting go of the outcome, because you might get exactly what you want, but you might get something better. And I'm open to it all. And I'm going to relax, and I'm going to let go, and I'm going to let the universe take the lead. And that's where that trying piece sort of stops.
Would just saying the morning prayer every day be enough?
Yes. Yes, because I'll tell you something. In my first book, The Universe is Talking to You, which is where the morning prayer came from, and which actually is the exact prayer I used in the story I told you earlier when I was trying to bring in money for my business and then wound up creating the summit. That's where that prayer came from. If you do nothing else in the higher help method, but say the prayer, you're going to see a difference. You're going to start seeing signs and synchronicities and things, because in every prayer that I do, I always end the prayer with, please send me the signs, the synchronicities, the opportunities, the resources that can help me with this. And please help me recognize them when they arrive. So you're not asking just for the signs, but you're asking for help in noticing them, because we are distracted beings, right? So yes, that alone can do it. However, I will say all of the other pieces, including that third step, which is shifting your energy and keeping yourself sort of in alignment and being open to those signs, that will speed up the process more. And then the fourth step in the process is receiving those signs, but not just receiving them, actually taking action on them. So we are going to get nowhere if we ask the universe for help, if we say the prayer, if we're shifting our energy, and then we get an idea or we hear the name of something 3 times. It could be the name of a doctor, a healing modality, whatever we're doing, and we're just like, I don't know, I'm not sure, I'm nervous, what if I do the wrong thing, and we do nothing. Then you can't blame the universe, because you're not doing your part. It's a partnership, right? It's co-creation. And the thing about action that is so important for people to know is you really can't mess it up. What I have found is the universe will redirect you, just like the GPS in your car. When you make a right and you were supposed to make a left, it will reroute you. It will reroute you, and it will keep throwing things in your path until you go the other way. But if you do nothing, then you can't move forward. And if you're not moving forward, the universe can't continue to drop the breadcrumbs to continue to guide you. So can you see progress if you only start with the prayer? Yes. But the reason I put the whole method together is because it really allows it to go smoother and more effortlessly. But if somebody wants to just start with the prayer and see how it assists them, you can 100% see a difference just from that.
And you said that we can go to your website and there's an example of a prayer that we could probably apply to ourselves, right?
Yes. So on the homepage of my website, I have you can get my top 3 tools for higher helpline communication. One of those tools is that morning prayer that is actually in the first book, is that prayer that I started with, where you're basically calling in protection, you're calling in healing. And then there's an intention section in it, which says, state your intentions here. And then that is where you would put in anything that you're working on, that you are asking for help with. It can be something that you are trying to create. It can be something that you are currently looking for a solution to, something that you're facing that particular day. So that's one of the tools that are of those 3 tools. Another one is called my assign exercise, and another one is called replay your day, which helps you open up more to those signs and synchronicities. It's like a list of questions to ask yourself at the end of every day, so you can start triggering yourself to notice more.
All right, I have a question from the audience, and if anybody else has a question, be sure to type it in the chat. Minnie Rapunzel says or asks, does visualization make manifesting work faster?
I believe visualization does. Yes, as long as it is a visualization that is a feel good, bringing excitement to your life, you can't wait for it visualization. So I do find that it makes a difference. I remember years ago interviewing Jack Canfield, who's an author of many different books. He's like the Chicken Soup for the Soul series guy. And he used to say, even 5 minutes a day of visualization, you'll start seeing a difference. My only thing is you don't want to go into the visualization and then get yourself into a doubted mode or into a stress mode, which actually the biggest thing I have to say that I forgot to say about clarity, which applies to visualization also, you really only want to focus on what it is or something better that you're trying to create, why you want to create it, right? Because that stimulates like excitement and like, oh my gosh, and then how you're going to feel. So with clarity, with visualization, that's what you want to focus on. You never, and I mean never, because it will take you to a bad place, want to focus on how something is going to happen, how it's actually going to play out, when it's going to happen, because you don't know when it's going to happen. That's sort of divine timing left to the universe, and where it's going to play out. And I say this from my own life because anytime I tried to visualize or you'd hear those people say like write what you're trying to create and put a deadline on it and all of this kind of stuff, right? That's like a real thing that people do, and if it works for them, that's awesome. It stressed me out because then I was like, I got to do this by then. How is that going to happen? Like, and then as the date got closer, I'm like, I know I'm not gonna be able to do this. This was a whole total waste of time. Or if I was visualizing and I was like picturing the outcome and I was so excited and everything is great, but then my brain started going into like visualizing how it was going to happen. It was like a gap opening for my self-doubt to come in and say, well, you can't, that's not going to happen. You're never gonna be able to do that. I mean, you know what has to be set up in place for that to happen. And so if you are visualizing or you are trying to create, don't pay any attention and don't start visualizing how, because you will then take yourself out of that feel goodness and it'll sort of mess up the whole process.
Um, oh, this is from Sea Breezy. Does your guest see light visions while meditating?
I have seen a lot of different things while meditating. Personally am a very visual person. So I guess you would call it like a clairvoyant would be my biggest sense that I'm very good with. And so sometimes I have seen light, sometimes I have seen flashes of things. Sometimes if I'm doing like intuitive things, I'll actually see like a movie playing in my head. So I happen to be a very visual person. But I would say as you're meditating and you're neutralizing your vibration and then hopefully raising your vibration, it would not be uncommon to see things, especially if you know I'm a very visual person. It's very common to sort of see those things flashing before you or see images, or some people see colors and all of that, and that's just sort of you opening up that third eye chakra and sort of connecting into that higher dimension. A lot of people will use crystals and different things like that to assist them with things like that as well.
I think that opportunities are coming to us all the time. It's just that sometimes either we're not taking them because we're not ready or we're not recognizing them. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I think that we are always being guided whether we are asking for it or not. I think when we ask for it, it supercharges the process. But yes, I think there are opportunities. And the biggest thing the reason we're not recognizing them is because we live in sort of the dense physical world, right? And there is a lot of crazy energy, chaotic energy, I always say there's two types of chaos. There's internal chaos and external chaos. So our internal chaos is our own thoughts and emotions that we stress ourselves out with thinking, right? And worrying and all of that. But then there's the external chaos of the environments that we're in, the things that we're watching, whether it be television, news, social media, we know what's going on around the whole globe now, not just in our community, right? So there's sort of chaos coming all around us. And so we have all of this coming at us. And there's actually a scientific term called emotional contagion that says that you can sort of catch emotions from another person the same way you would catch a germ, right? And so if we are sort of open and not aware, all of this stuff is coming at us. And when all of this stuff is coming at us, plus our own mind is caught up in its own cycles, we don't recognize the things that are around us. We don't recognize the signs. Like I said, you won't even overhear the conversation that's happening in front of you that could be the exact answer that you need to something, because you're going over and over in your own mind, your to-do list or things that you have to do, or worried about a conversation you just had or that you have to have. So the biggest thing to start opening up and recognizing the opportunities, the signs, the synchronistic experiences that we can look back on and say, oh my gosh, had this not happened, I would have never gotten here. And oh, now this is happening and it's going to lead me here. You won't even recognize that until you start taming some of that chaos, working on your energy, doing, like I said, like a 60-second retreat throughout the day to bring yourself back. And then when you're saying the prayer, asking for help in recognizing it. So you don't want to just ask for, send me the opportunities, send me the signs. You literally want to say, help me recognize them. Bang me over the head with something so I literally can't deny that this is the way that I need to go. So that's another piece I think that will help. But yes, I think things are lining up for us all the time. And often that's why the universe uses repetition. That's why you won't hear the name of the book one time. You'll hear the name of the book 3 times, or you'll hear something else and say, why do people keep talking to me about this? Or why did I get an email and then there was a flyer on my car and then so-and-so brought it up? Like, I just keep hearing about this. The universe knows that we're chaotic and we're missing stuff. So it will repeat things until we get it and then act on it.
Do you believe that we all come here with a purpose? And if so, the limits and what we're going to be manifesting has to be in line with that. And there may be limits or not based on our purpose here.
I definitely think that we all come in with a plan. I think we all come in with contracts with other people that we're going to meet. That's why, like I said before, sometimes you'll meet somebody and you fall in love and you think it's going to work out and it doesn't work out and you're like, why did it not work out? And the universe is like, that you were only supposed to be with that person for this long to learn this lesson, and now your contract with this person is going to be enacted and now you're going into this relationship. And so I do think that there is a pre-planned situation of like, I'm going to come into this body and I am going to learn these lessons, and this person is going to help me, and this person is going to hurt me so that I can learn this, and then this person is going to love me so I can learn this. And so I do think that there is predetermined situations. I also think that we have free will. So even if we've planned all of these things, we can choose not to follow it, right? We can choose not to do certain things. But I feel like that's sort of why I like to turn the reins over to the universe a little bit more, because I know it knows what's in my highest good. And I know it knows what I came in here for and why I came in here. And although we might have, sometimes people think purpose, they think like career wise, like I came in with this purpose to do this job. And I think that plays into it. But I also think we all have an overall purpose together to learn, to grow, to learn certain lessons. Sometimes it's through people that hurt us. Sometimes it's through amazing and wonderful circumstances. I don't think we'll ever fully know everything, or remember, I should say, everything until we get back over there, onto the other side of the veil. But I do think that we have a purpose, and I do believe we have soul contracts, and I believe we make the choice to come here to have the parents that we have and to interact with the people that we interact with in order to fulfill those lessons and that purpose that we came in with.
Do you think that when we're even daydreaming, we're in a way manifesting, and we have to be mindful about what we're daydreaming or what we're even consuming as far as media, because media may cause you to daydream in a positive or negative way, which could potentially have you manifest negative things in your life?
Yes. Oh my gosh, media, yes. I'll tell you, I don't watch the news at all. I consume certain things. I'll look things up online. I hear like I'm aware of the things that I need to be aware of, but I know personally I can't handle all of that. You know, the majority of the regular news is telling you about the horrible things that are happening all over the world. So I try not to consume that in that way. I haven't watched the news since I was younger, and my mother used to have it on when she was cooking dinner every night, and we always had it in the house. So, yes, I think anything that we consume, right? That's that external chaos. Anything that we consume is affecting our energy, and it is our energy that is manifesting. So even though you're calling in these archangels and you're calling in these higher helpers, they're not manifesting for you. You're doing the manifesting, but they're guiding you, they're helping you, they're assisting you, they're your partner. When it comes to daydreaming, when it comes to we are manifesting whether we realize it or not through our thoughts, through our emotions, through the beliefs that are held in our subconscious mind from when we were 5. We are manifesting all of the time. It's about getting conscious about that manifestation. So if you find yourself catastrophizing, worrying about visualizing something horrible happening, going into a place where maybe you're going back in time and reliving a situation that happened over and over again, you're putting all of that out into the universe. And that is where that step 3 in the higher help method comes in, where you have to recognize I'm doing it, right? And then you got to consciously shift your energy. The biggest difference between manifesting subconsciously or without putting any consciousness into it and just living your life and broadcasting crazy thoughts and emotions and beliefs and not being purposeful about it, and then being conscious about what you're putting out there, about the intentions that you have, about managing your energy so that you don't spiral into those negative places, is you are going to be clearer about what you're getting. You're going to be creating things from a very different vibration, right? I always think back to like the people who win the lottery and then they lose all their money, right? So it's like maybe they had that moment of manifesting $3 million or $300 million or whatever it is, but then they lose all their money because their dominant way of being is at that lower vibration. So we have to sort of work on shifting our energy. So when we find that we're daydreaming about something negative or we're in that cycle of worry, we have to just constantly consciously stop it and shift it so that now you're in a better space. So you're manifesting whether you realize it or not. It's about getting conscious of what you're thinking and what you're broadcasting out into the world.
Sorry about that. Now, you say that feeling stuck is a good thing. Why is that?
Yes. I used to hate feeling stuck, especially that time in my life where I was stuck in every area. What I have found in my life is that when I feel like the universe uses you feeling stuck to light a fire under you. Because if you were not stuck in some area, you would never look to do things differently. You would just keep doing what you're doing over and over and getting the same result. When you get stuck, you want to get unstuck. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be in this place anymore. How do I move forward? How do I get a better job? How do I make more money? How do I meet someone that I can spend my life with or whatever it might be? When you're stuck, it forces you to look for different solutions. It forces you to do things differently so you can get different results. And that moves you into a place of growth. So anytime, I always say to people, if you are stuck, shift your perception of being stuck to this is an amazing thing. because this means I can create something amazing from this place, because the universe is like, it's time to do something differently. And when you do something differently, now you're moving into a different energy. And now you have all of these possibilities available to you to grow and to move into another state.
All right, Tammy, what is your website again?
Yes, my website is just my name, tammymastroberte.com. The book itself actually is going to be out April 16th. But if you go to tammymastroberte.com/higher help method, if you pre-order and go back to that page, you actually get a 2-part live class with me helping you apply the book. You get an opening intuition meditation and a bunch of other bonuses.
Cool. Now you also have a YouTube channel, right?
Correct. I have a YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I actually go live, similar to you, every Thursday at noon Eastern. I am live for what I call Weekly Spirit Boost, and it broadcasts to Facebook, to Instagram, and to YouTube at the same time. And I'm usually live for about a half an hour, teaching different things, answering questions, sharing crazy stories from my own life that I think will illustrate the teachings and help people.
Is that the only type of content you're posting there? Is just the live, or you have other videos as well?
Oh no, I have other videos on the YouTube channel as well.
All right. Well, I think that's everything that we wanted to cover. Just kind of checking my notes here to make sure that I wanted to catch everything, and I think I did. Tammy,
Awesome.
Thank you so much for coming and joining us today. I
Thank
think
you for having
you
me.
had great information, and I was thinking about I need to check out your prayer, and so I'll remember it. Maybe I'll just type it down and then tape it to my bathroom mirror or something, so I can do that every day.
Yes, absolutely. And that'll be like a trigger for you to remember, let me just take a couple of minutes and say this prayer. Everything I teach, nothing takes a ton of time because we're busy people,
Mhm.
but it's easy to sort of incorporate. And when you start seeing the difference, you want to do more.
If people want to ask you questions, should they leave comments on your videos or come to your live stream?
Either way, they can leave comments on my videos. They can message me through. I'm probably fastest with messages if you message me through Instagram, because I tend to see them. Or they can always shoot an email to just through my website, and that always gets forwarded to me as well.
All right. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for coming and hanging with us today. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I wish you massive success in whatever you're doing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I wish the same to you.
Thank you, and have a great rest of
Bye.
your weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, she's gone. And a big round of applause for Tammy. All right, we're going to be bringing in the next guest in a few minutes, but before we do, I'll just kind of catch up on a couple things. I want to welcome Mirek Kuzminski to being a member. Thank you, Mirek, for signing up. And I want to say a big thank you to Jessica Sleep for your super thanks. We really appreciate it, and thank you again. All right, so once again, I'm kind of adjust my volume there. Let's just see real quick. Tomorrow night I have a near-death experience for you guys. And I'm just trying to keep up. My desktop is a mess, so there it is. And I believe the guest that I have for you is Kristen Newman with Infinite Heart and Soul. So that will be our NDE that I'm planning on posting tomorrow. I have an NDE to record on Sunday, one on Monday, Tuesday. I have Debbie Dashinger on Wednesday, and she is, I think, in shamanism and UFOs. And then Rob Gauthier, who I had not about 6 months ago or so, and he channels an ET, which I'm going to be having. We're going to be having the being, or he's going to be channeling for me live. So I need to make a post about that. So if you guys have anything you'd like me to ask the channel, that would be great. And then I have another NDE on Friday. And then next week, we have 3 guests, 1 for an hour and 2 for half an hour. So it's a busy week that we've already lined up this coming week. And I think that's about it. Let me see if there's anything that I need to recap from what we've had this week. No, there's not. And once again, we have other channels. We have our music channel, which I haven't done much lately. We have our cooking channel, which we're starting to post every week, which we recently made a banana cookie video. If you want to learn how to make delicious, healthy banana cookies, it's real simple and it's there. And we have the 2 Facebook pages, our podcast page, as well as my personal one. You're welcome to friend me on my personal one. You'll see that my last name is Reynolds. Mara is my beloved wife. And the podcast is named after both of us. And Discord is there, but I don't keep a link there. If you want to join the Discord, what you have to do is just email me personally and I'll give you the code to get in. Because when we had the trolls that were trolling the podcast, not only were they coming here trolling the live cast, but they were going to Discord and causing problems too. So I had to shut that down. And a link to our merch store, which I need to create a new cup, a new mug. And I have some ideas from our very own Penny Sutton, but I just got to get to it. All right, so let's go to our next guest. Let me bring up my notes here, and I will introduce her before bringing her in. Where is she? All right, she is Kay Miller. Kay is an author, speaker, ordained minister who has shared the stage with Zig Ziglar. She has spoken in hundreds of churches and Fortune 500 companies, but tonight she's going to be my special guest, and she has a very important revelation for the end times that she will be sharing. All right, so let's bring her in, Kay Miller. And I'll give her a big round of applause while we're bringing her in. Hi, Kay.
Hi there.
Hi there. Welcome. Did you shut off your YouTube? I thought I could hear it in the background. I don't hear it anymore.
We had that on the big screen, so we're
here.
We're here.
We're here live. I introduced you. You probably didn't hear it because there's a time delay. Yeah, I think it's off. All right, but so welcome. And I understand that in 1984, you had a supernatural encounter that led you to the discovery of something so surreal and so shocking that it changed your life and your perception of Christianity forever. So can you share that with us?
All right, just a little background. I was born in West Texas and grew up in a little town. We didn't actually live in town. We lived outside of town and on a cotton farm. And we would go to town 2 times a week. And we'd go once to the grocery store, the Piggly Wiggly, and the other time was to church. And when we went to church, I was a young child and I had lots of questions and they didn't have answers. So I was a little pensive about church, Christianity. Now, I wanted to be a good person and I believe in God, but I just wasn't quite sure about the whole religious program. So I went through life and got married and experienced a difficult time with this gentleman. He was an alcoholic and fooled around and was in Bryan College Station at the time. And I ended up selling my home, divorcing him, selling my business, and moving to Houston. And after I moved to Houston, I was going to go and work for a salon. I was a hairstylist. I was going to go and work for a salon, build up a clientele, and then open my own salon. That was my plan. But my life turned in another direction really suddenly. I had a supernatural experience one morning. I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, which is really early. And I heard my mother call my name. And it was a desperate cry for help. And she had been sick for 7 years. She had had a nervous breakdown when I was 3. And so she'd been sick all this time. And this new condition, one minute she'd be fine carrying on a normal conversation. The next minute she would be confused and disoriented. And that could last for a couple of hours to 4 days before she was back in her right mind. And the doctors all said it was just due to brain damage from a blockage in her carotid artery. So she had moved in with my grandparents in Seminole. I'm in Houston. I hear her in the atmosphere call my name. So I wrestled with it for a bit because I thought, oh, what is happening here? Because fairly normal person here. And anyway, I decided to get up and go call because I thought, well, what if something is wrong? What if she's fallen and something's happening, or she's having a heart attack and she's crying out and she can't get my grandparents? So I went ahead and I went to the phone. Now, before my hand touched it, it rang. And I answered it, and I didn't say hello. I said, Mother, what's wrong? And she said in the most desperate voice, everything. I'd rather be dead than live like this. The next thing that came out of my mouth was, get on the next airplane. You're moving in with me. I had quite a bit of money, and I thought, we'll figure it out. Well, Mom will live with me. We'll be fine. Well, one spell after another, and multiple trips to the emergency room with no health insurance on Mom, really was going through the money very fast. And I had to take a leave of absence from my work. And there's no money coming in if you're not working as a hairstylist. There's no unemployment or anything coming in. So the money was going out, no money was coming in. And I was really starting to panic because I realized we're going to run out of money. And then my mother smoked incessantly. When in fact, she'd light the next cigarette, she was going to smoke off the one she was still smoking. And I thought, I'll probably be the one that dies of cancer. She'll live forever and I'll be the one that dies of cancer. So we had that. And I was very depressed because I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't work out. I couldn't leave the house because the one time I took my eyes off my mother, she had a spell, escaped, and took a yellow cab from Houston to Lubbock. She was gone for 3 days. And I got a call from the police station. They said, we have your mother here and a very angry yellow cab driver who wants his money. And so I had to fly out, pay the yellow cab driver, and get us both back to Houston. So after that little number, I never took my eyes off my mother again. So the fateful day came when I ended up being served an eviction notice on the door. And I was hyperventilating and practically having a nervous breakdown from that. And then 2 hours later, I got a call from my doctor's office. They'd done a normal procedure, just like a female type of workup. And they said, we need you to come in. We found something. And so I went into the doctor's office. I got a diagnosis of cancer that day. I had no medical insurance. And then on the way home from the doctor's office, the car blew up on the Katy Freeway in the pouring rain. And we didn't have cell phones back then. They hadn't been invented yet. They were in the process, but they hadn't gone live yet. And so anyway, I dug up a quarter underneath the floor mat of the car. I found it by a Cheeto. And I found a payphone, and I called a neighbor just hoping to leave a message, that I was in trouble and that she would get it when she got home and maybe find me as I was walking back to my apartment, several miles. I was several miles from home, but I was going to have to walk. She answered the phone. She happened to be home, and she said, don't you worry, I'll come get you. So she came and got me, and I was really, really undone. I mean, I got an eviction notice, a cancer diagnosis, and now my car, I don't have the money for a wrecker. We're absolutely, completely broke, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And so I'm telling her my story, and she's sympathetic. And she says, well, that's terrible that happened. And I'm really sorry about that. And I'll pray for you. And when I got home, it had quit raining. So I changed to my one other outfit I could wear. I went out by the pool, and there was a girl sitting by the pool. And I thought, how did she get out here so fast? I wanted the pool to myself so that I could sit down and, at least process what was happening to me. And I heard a voice, an inner voice. It was the Lord speaking to me, and he said, go sit by that girl. I thought, I don't know her. Um, I don't want to go sit by her. And then I heard the voice again, go sit by her. And I kept walking. And then something happened to me that has never happened before. My feet were arrested. It was like an angel standing in front of me that I wasn't able to move forward. And so I turned around and I put my towel down by her, pulled up my pants, sat down, and she looked over at me like, are you a nut? We've got this entire pool area and you decided to come sit by me. I'm out here trying to meditate and have some peace. And I could just tell what she was thinking. And I was thinking back, like communicating and thought like, well, I didn't want to sit by you either. And so I just sat there waiting for what was going to happen. And she finally opened her eyes and she said, you know, um, how's your day going? And I said, you really want to know? And she goes, yeah. And I said, well, it sucks. I got an eviction notice. I got a cancer diagnosis and my car is still smoldering on the side of the I-10 freeway. So anyway, she said, she let me talk. And I said, I took my mother in. She's been here for a while. She's been here 6 months. We ran out of money. I'm still not able to find a solution for her. She said if I put her in a home or put her anywhere, or we work together to do that in our family, that she'll commit suicide, and she really means it. She will do it. She's very determined. And so I said, I don't know what to do. And I'm miserable. I'm fat. I've gained 70 pounds eating the only kind of food I could buy and afford, which was white bread and bologna and all kinds of really beanie weenies and unhealthy things that'll put weight on you with the quickness. No more filet mignon and asparagus for Kay. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I've gained all this weight. I'm so depressed. Now I have cancer. I have no medical insurance. And I just went on and on and on until I finally stopped. And she looked at me and she said, when one is in a hole, one should stop digging. So I was processing that. I'm going in now. I didn't think I could get any more depressed, but I'm more depressed. So I'm going to go in. And she goes, wait, do you believe the Lord works in mysterious ways? And I said, well, yeah, of course, I do believe he works in mysterious ways. And she goes, how do you know he didn't send me to answer your question? Well, I hadn't told her that when that car broke down, that I got out of that car in the pouring rain because I thought it was on fire. Or there's smoke billowing out from under the hood. And I looked up to heaven and I said, God, I'm not even going to ask you to fix this. I just want to know why it happened. Just tell me why. I've been a good person all my life. I've done my best to be a good, honest person. I just really need to know why that this has happened to me. Why aren't things turning around? And so when she said that, how do you know that God didn't send me to answer your question? I thought, how do I know? What if there's a microscopic chance that God did send her to answer my question, and I don't give her the opportunity to do it? She said, I have some books for you to read that will help you understand. So I followed her to her apartment. She had a massive bookshelf. I've never seen so many books in my life. I was surprised it didn't cave the floor in to the first floor. There were so many books in that bookshelf. And she picked out a few for me. And I put them out on my coffee table when I got home. And I picked up one of the books. And I said, God, if this is you, And I'm supposed to read these. Show me which one. So I looked down, and there was one book in particular that was kind of highlighted. So I picked it up. And I opened it right to a scripture that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, and as you sow, so shall you reap. And one of the things that you sow are your thoughts, your beliefs. You sow them in the fertile field. The fertile field doesn't care what you sow, it's just going to grow it. So I pondered that for a minute, and I thought, I did think that I was going to get cancer over and over and over again. I was every day that I was packing on the pounds. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to be as big as a barn. And I did think that we're going to run out of money and we're going to be on the street. And I was even, wondering where I was going to blow dry my hair. So I thought, okay. So I thought myself into this. So I need to turn it around. But I read another scripture that said, whatsoever you pray for, believing you receive it. See, we have a work to do. We have our part to play. Whatsoever you pray for, whatsoever is a huge word, isn't it? Whatsoever is enormous. Believe that you receive it. Just have the audacity to believe that you're receiving it, and you'll have it. It will come to you. So I thought, well, I know what I'm going to ask for. It's kind of like you've got 3 wishes. What do you want to ask for? More wishes. Infinite wishes. Well, I thought I was really clever. I said, well, what I want to ask for is the keys to miracles, because Jesus said we could do all the things he did and greater things than those. And some of the things he did, I haven't seen Christians do. Not ever. Turn water into wine, multiply the fishes and the loaves, call Lazarus forth. He'd been dead for 4 days. He was rotting. And Jesus called him forth, and he immediately got up. And I also noticed that there was no delay when Jesus did those things. When he multiplied the fishes and the loaves, turned water into wine, raised Lazarus from the dead. When they needed money, he called it forth. The fish swam up right away. They didn't have to toil for it. They didn't have to work for it. He seemed to have this ability to command reality, like a reality commander. And I thought, I'm going to ask for whatever it is that I need to do what he said I can do as a Christian. He said I can do these things. I don't see other Christians doing any of this. Occasionally they'll have a faith healing service, and somebody will run up and claim their back was healed, or that their headache went away, or whatever. But where's the medical documentation? And a lot of people don't think we need medical documentation. But if it's a real miracle, then there will be medical documentation. We can follow up and get that. But I don't see that. A lot of talk of healing, no documentation to verify it. So I said, okay, this is what I'm going to ask for. Now, the believing I was going to receive it part was definitely not easy. I had to travail. I had to cast down, the Bible says to cast down every negative thought. So every time I had a doubt, I would be violent with it. I would absolutely violently cast those doubts down. And I held on with both hands. I said, I am going to believe. Now, that took 3 days to break the doubt barrier. But the Bible says, if you say to this mountain, be cast in the sea, and do not doubt in your heart that what you have spoken, what you have said will come to pass, then whatever you said will come to pass. So doubt is a huge mountain we all have to deal with. And a lot of people say that they're really believing and say that they really believe, but they don't. Because if they did, it would show up. Because these laws and principles in the Bible work for everyone. They don't just work for Christians. They work for everybody. And so anyway, I travailed for 3 days. I didn't eat, not because I was fasting, but because we didn't have any food in the house. So I was not able to eat. I just prayed. And I did not tell my mother anything that I was doing. And the reason why is because I knew she would doubt. I knew she would send up a torpedo to shoot it down, because you have to sustain your belief that you're receiving whatever it is that you're asking for, whatever it is that you're praying for. You have to believe that you're receiving it long and hard enough to keep that portal open for God to have time to do it through you. Nothing happens to you. It happens through you. Everybody's looking up to God sitting on a chair in the sky, and they're wondering if they'll get a miracle like it's a miracle lottery. They are all guaranteed. Miracles are guaranteed if you apply all of the teachings of Jesus. They're guaranteed. But it's difficult to apply it. And Christians don't approach it with that ninja discipline. They don't approach it that way at all. In fact, they really don't understand or have a depth of revelation what the Word of God actually says. And there's a lot of excuse making when things don't show up. But they didn't do their part, you see. You have to ask. The whatsoever is get clarity. What is it that you want to ask for? You have not because you ask not. So get really clear, very specific, as specific as you can be about what it is that you want. Then you have to believe that you receive it. Most Christians will spend 1 minute praying for what they want and no time at all sitting in the receiving mode. When you're sitting in the receiving mode, you should be in a hyper state of joy, just open and receiving. Just to stay in a hyper state of joy and just be open to receive it. Okay, so that's all I knew to do at that point. So I took hold of all.
Let me stop you
Going
for
up.
one. Let me stop you for 1 second. I want to get back to just one thing, and I should have stopped
Okay.
you a long time ago when the
Okay,
woman
sure.
told you that just you're digging a hole for yourself. Would you say that worrying is basically praying for bad things to happen?
It's like faith in the negative. It is a form of faith, but it's faith in the negative. And it works just as surely as faith in the positive. Just as surely. I am living proof that it works really well. Because I got everything that I was in fear. And the story Job in the Bible, Job said, and I don't know if you know that story, but Job lost everything. He lost his family, he lost all of his animals. He was an incredibly wealthy man. He lost his friends. He lost everything. But Job said the thing that he feared had come upon him. See, fear is faith in the negative. And it works just as surely as faith in the positive. So, okay, so back to the story. I was focusing my faith, and I knew that I hadn't broken the doubt barrier yet. So I did it with repetition. I said, I believe that I'm getting the keys to miracles. I believe that somehow, some way, heaven and earth is going to move to lay these. Creation is going to move. Creation is going to move to lay these keys at my feet. And I was in between doing that. I was flipping through the books and reading. They didn't have it. The answers weren't there. And it was a nice selection of books, but they didn't have the answer. So I knew I had to really seek the answers. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open. So I was banging at the door and kicking the door in and asking and believing. And I said, I believe, I believe, I believe. And I said it over and over and over again. And then I eventually noticed that I started to believe a little bit, but I hadn't really broken through the doubt barrier yet. So I kept going. And the repetition was really effective because it was tearing it down. It was breaking through. And eventually, when I broke the doubt barrier, it was like a jet going hypersonic. And when it breaks the sound barrier, it gets on the other side of that. That's what a visual would look like. If you've ever seen a visual of that, you're breaking a wall. It's a wall. And once you're on the other side of the wall, the peace that I had in the knowing, it was a knowing. When you find the place where you are in the state of knowing that you're going to receive that which you've asked for, it is a peaceful place. There's no anxiety. You are completely relaxed. Anxiety is like a clamp on the water hose. The Bible gives that principle in the scripture, be anxious in nothing. Because it's like a clamp on the water hose, you're going to cut the flow off. Nothing works through anxiety. It's like your body needs to be in a relaxed state to create the space for everything to flow through. If you're anxious, nothing can get through because everything happens through you. Nothing happens to you. Everything happens through you. So you've got to learn how to master getting in the right state for everything to happen through you.
What
So
about, I like that. What about everything happens for you from the universe?
it does happen for you. It literally, everything was laid at my feet. I didn't have to go seek anything, nothing. Everything came to me, everything. Where could I go? I had no car. I had no money. Everything came to me. And, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll get to this part of how everything worked, because this is the big revelation that I'm getting to here. Okay, so after 3 days of warring to break my own doubt and just believe, just have the audacity to believe, I went to sleep after that 3rd day. I was exhausted. I hadn't eaten anything. And I was giving all the rest of the food in the cabinet to my mother and making sure she was taken care of. And I didn't know if the sheriff was going to knock on the door any minute and put us out on the street either while I'm doing this. And I went to sleep. And immediately after I went to sleep, and I'm not a dreamer, there's these people that have dreams all the time and they interpret their dreams, and I'm just not one of them. All I know is I go to sleep and I sleep and then I wake up. That's all I know. But this was different. I felt like I left this world and was taken up. And I met with an angel, and there's nobody else around, just that angel to greet me as I came up. And it felt like I was going up. And when I met with the angel really didn't say anything. The angel just started guiding me down a path. And as I looked down the path, I could see a building on the path at the end of it. And there was someone standing outside of the building by the doors to the building. And the building was shaped like a book. And it had these really tall doors. And so we got closer and I recognized the person standing outside the doors. And it was Jesus. And he said to me without moving his lips, He said, because you have prayed and because you have believed, I will give you what you seek. Now I'm getting ready to find out how to turn water into wine, how to walk on water, how to multiply. Those are principles, by the way. Multiplication, if you break it down, you can't just multiply fish. You can multiply cars. You can multiply anything, any material object. You can do the things that Jesus did. You can change a rock into gold. I mean, you can do those things. Those things are all possible. So I'm getting ready to find out how to do that. So I'm pretty excited, So anyway, we go inside, and inside this building, it's like Snoopy's doghouse in there. There's a long table down the middle that was like a harvest table, and it had chairs on both sides all the way down. And then the bookshelves teed off of that. And then when you looked up, there was no roof. I saw clouds. And I thought, this is weird. I don't see a roof. I see clouds. And then Jesus kind of laughed a little bit. He said, those aren't clouds. That's the glory. And then I remembered, oh yeah, cloud by day, fire by night. That was the presence of God going with the Israelites. And so he said, what you seek is in the glory cloud. And I thought, well, it's really up there. I thought, do I get a ladder? How do I get it? And he said, sit down. And I sat just right by him at the harvest table. And he reached out his hands on either side of my head. And all I can say is it reminded me of an episode of Star Trek. when, when the doctor put the helmet on his head and was downloaded with all this information. It was exactly like that. He put his hands on either side of my head and imparted into me this knowledge. But it was way more than the keys to miracles. It was vast amounts of revelation of things that are going to happen in the end of days, and giftings and abilities that I did not have before, okay? I did not have these gifts. And when I woke up from this dream, I was able to remember it so clearly, so vividly, and I'm back in my body, and I thought, did that really happen? And I thought, I know the keys to miracles. I know the secret. I know the ultimate secret. I know what no one else knows. And so I started writing them down. And it was basically 7 keys. Some of the keys are how to properly operate in this realm. Because the first key is there's a realm. It's the knowledge of a realm that exists here on planet Earth. It's always been here. It's not, a lot of people are thinking the ascension's coming. No, that realm has always been here. We just have to line up with the right state of mind and consciousness that is necessary to enter it. And then these other keys are how to properly operate in the realm. And then what happens in the realm is everything in all creation is unlocked down to the molecular level. And then it's voice activated. You can speak, and creation, a lot of people use the term universe or whatever, or the Father. But I'm going to tell you what it really is. The Father created creation. Creation is like a 3D printer, is how I see it, like a 3D printer, and it's voice activated. But it only responds to words that are spoken in the right frequency. And the way to get into that frequency is in the teachings of Jesus. Now, he's the only one that did these things. You know, there's other so-called masters, but I'm here to tell you, point out one that did more than Jesus did. Point out one that did the things he did. So why would I follow anybody else? And a disciple, just so that you know, a disciple's job is to become like their rabbi, to discipline yourself to do what your rabbi did, exactly like your rabbi did it. Every Christian is supposed to be learning about this realm. Every Christian is supposed to already know about this realm, walk in it, operate in it, and do the things Jesus did. And then literally, we're actually commanded by Jesus to go train other people to do it. So the church system that got created is such a far departure from what Jesus originally had in mind that they don't even look alike. In fact, they look nothing alike. What Jesus commanded us to do is to seek ye first the kingdom and his righteousness, which is the right consciousness, the right frequency, and the right state of mind. And then all these things, meaning all of the infinite possibilities, will be added to you. It's his good pleasure to give to us the kingdom. But Christians are running around talking about there's more than one kingdom, by the way, and they don't know that. All they talk about is, where are you going to go when you die? Are you going to the kingdom of heaven when you die? Where are you going to go when you die? They know nothing about the kingdom that is at hand. But yet Jesus commanded us to go and preach and tell them about the kingdom that is at hand. Walk in the frequency, walk in the state of mind, perform the miracles, pray for them, prophesy, all that knowledge, that infinite knowledge is in the kingdom, readily available, easy. There's well springs. Know ye not that the kingdom is at hand, because the kingdom is within. It's like Snoopy's doghouse inside here. And there's well springs on the inside that are infinite well springs that can be tapped into. Infinite knowledge, infinite wisdom, infinite healing flow, healing creative ability, witty solutions to any problem that you could possibly have. It's all there in the kingdom. And the kingdom is within. You carry it wherever you go. That's why he said, as you go, announce and let them know the kingdom is at hand, because I'm bringing it. I have unlocked it. I carry it. I'm a kingdom carrier, and I'm here. And we are to use that kingdom realm where all things are possible to transform this earth and everything in it into the likeness of heaven. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. The whole plan was to access the kingdom, master it, and then transform this earth and everything in it into the likeness of heaven, where there's no sickness, there's no pain, there's only joy, no tears, and everything is beautiful. So that was the original plan. But Jesus even said after he ascended, the ravenous wolves were going to come in. Because Satan's plan, and there is a Satan, fallen angels, the plans of darkness are to create hell on earth. And the plans of God and Jesus are to create heaven on earth. So there's a war going on right now, and we're actually seeing more and more of it. The demonic realm is going to be coming through like never before. The veil is getting thinner and thinner. The barrier between us and the demonic is getting thinner. That's another dimension. And these demons are interdimensional beings. And they have figured out how to take physical form, create physicality. So they have power. They have power, and they can do these things. And there's a war coming, and there's no clarity about what's really happening here. And the Christians are, frankly, dumb as a grape. They have no idea they're supposed to be walking in the supernatural realm. You don't just unlock it and lock it back. You live there. Jesus, they were mocking him when he was going to the cross, and they said, "What kingdom are you a king of the Jews?" And he said, "It's a kingdom you can't see. It's an invisible realm." So when I got the keys and I aligned my state of mind properly, following the teachings of Jesus, because he's the only one that's fully unlocked it. So you're going to follow this guide or that guide, or, who are you going to, the ascended masters, who are you going to follow that would be better than the one that demonstrated more of the infinite possibilities than anybody else? And I don't blame people for not wanting to follow modern day Christianity. You couldn't find the truth in those churches if you tried. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. You can ask them, "What can you tell me about the kingdom that is at hand?" They have no idea what you're talking about. Yet Jesus commanded us to go and preach and tell them that the kingdom is at hand. And they know nothing about it. So when I got the keys and I began to apply them, it's not easy. The level of discipline and meditation on the word, meditation on the teachings, it is so intense, I can't even tell you. But you enter in, and it's your permanent residence. You don't enter in and out. You live there. You live in the land of infinite possibilities. And you said, you have to be like the little children to operate here. And what do little children? They have childlike faith. And it's infinite. Nothing is impossible. He won't withhold anything from us. See, the Christians think that prosperity is wrong, but the kingdom is nothing but prosperity. It is an infinite wellspring of endless supply. You can't inherit that kingdom and be poor. Poverty is a curse. The parable of the 10 talents, the guy that buried his money and didn't do anything with it, was called wicked and slothful by the Lord. And what he had was taken away and given to the ones that would do something with it. So this infinite supply is for us. It's our glorious inheritance, but the Christians don't even know that it exists. So God told me to build a bridge, take the truth into the Christian church and tell them the truth, build the bridge. The kingdom is for them. And then also build a bridge, because what happened with a lot of people is, since they're just hungry for truth, they're truth seekers. They just went everywhere that they could trying to find it. You can't find it in the church. So of course you're going to turn to everything else. But what's interesting is things like the law of attraction. Hey, I'm not knocking the phrase, but it is based on whatsoever you pray for, believing you receive it, believing you attract it, and you shall have it. So when I was actually practicing like a ninja in the kingdom, I was writing my list of things to test drive it with, like a scientist. I'm gonna do an experiment. I'm gonna write down all these things that there's no way they could just show up, just no way they could be random. So I write down all these things on the list. And I said, I asked the Lord a question. I said, is it okay to ask for these things. And here was the response. He said, will you ever love it more than me? And I said, no. Will you ever love it more than anyone else? No. Would you give it up if I ever ask you to? And I said, yes, because there's infinitely more. Why would I hesitate to give something away if there's a never-ending supply? So yes, I would be happy to give it up if you asked me to. He said, you may have whatever you write down. I will, and then he said, I will withhold nothing from those who walk in righteousness. So I was in right standing. I'm legally accessing the kingdom because there's some things that Jesus has required from us in order to legally access. He didn't say others couldn't access it, but if they do, and they don't go through the legal rites of passage to enter the kingdom, then he refers to them as thieves and robbers. So it's not that they can't, it's that and they'll never fully access it. Because unless you come in legally, there's some things about that legal authority that you have there that if you don't have it, you can't operate in it fully. Okay, so entered the kingdom. I had my list. I had Rolls Royce, mother healed, cancer gone, allergies gone, eyesight 20/20, flat feet healed. I had flat feet. And I just, a perfect job, where I can grow, a great career. So I wrote all this down. I had 72 very, very specific things about my home that I wanted, with fabulous art on the walls and marble floors, closer walk with the Lord, better ability to walk in the kingdom more freely, new friends, world travel, a lot of the things that a 26-year-old might write down. Okay. So anyway, I was only 26 at the time. Now, what happened in the kingdom is there was no delay. So delay is, there is no time in the kingdom. Time is linear. Time is suspended in the kingdom, and the molecules are unlocked and free to instantly form and recreate. And that goes for circumstances. They're free to instantly move. So all I asked for, which I was guided by Jesus to do, is that here's the list. I'm asking for it to unfold perfectly. What's better than perfect? With no delay, in the most perfect way, order, and time. There's no better way for that to happen. And things started happening. The miracles started happening like popcorn in the microwave. My cancer was instantly healed. My eyesight was instantly healed. My flat feet formed arches right before my eyes. I lost 70 pounds in 90 days. My mother was happy, well, and living on her own. And it all unfolded in this beautiful order that was absolutely perfect. Everything that needed to happen happened exactly when these total strangers paid my rent. I never met them before. And they went and found my car. I didn't even know where my car was. I didn't want to know where that car was. They found my car and paid for it to be repaired. And I had left the key in it so that the wrecker company wouldn't have to, could put it in neutral and get it off the side of the freeway. I didn't want to know where the car was because I knew I'd have to pay the impound fee on the car. So anyway, they found my car. They got it repaired. They brought it back to me. I got this amazing job. Cellular was turning on, and I got a job in the cellular industry. And at 26 years old, I ended up running 3 divisions of this company. And we went from not even being on the map to number 3 in the nation. And then after I left that job, I started my own personal development company teaching these keys. And it was hard to teach them in the church because they're very hard ground. They're very hard ground. All they know is Christianity, the way they've always practiced it, the way they've always known it. Well, God will answer that prayer, if it's his will. And I said, Jesus told me you better know his will before you pray. That way you can have absolute faith. Because a double-minded man, if you go in wondering if it's going to be God's will or if he's going to answer it, no, his will is very clear. It's all spelled out. It's not hard to know his will. You have to know that in advance. So they're going in already ready to experience failure in just the way that they pray. And very hard ground, extremely hard ground. It's like, no, this is what Jesus actually says in his word. And they have the but yeah, your interpretation of that. And I'm like, interpretation. I got an impartation, honey. It's not an interpretation. And
But let me stop. I'm so
Okay, go
sorry.
ahead.
Let me stop you for a moment because we're running out of time. We only have like 5 minutes left. When you went through, did you tell us what the ultimate secret is? And if you did, can you just rephrase it for us?
It's knowing how to get in the right mindset. Because everything is consciousness. It is a state of consciousness that and a frame of mind that you have to be in to unlock this realm. But there's other keys that are necessary. That's why I put it together in the book, The Keys to Everything. And that's the website too, thekeystoeverything.com. And it's a simple little book, 247 pages. And it comes with a focus guide. And it's not easy to apply these keys, but you can't apply them at all if you don't even know what they are.
It's so great that you said that because I have a question from the audience, and that is, can you give us one practical example of a key to the kingdom we can use in our lives?
You have to have the authority. And the authority only comes in gaining your kingship. See, Jesus called us, those that follow him and have done all the things that he's required of us, you're taking on his identity. Baptism is not washing away your sins. It's you're dying to your old identity, and you're being cleansed of your old identity, and you're being reborn into his identity. And then the baptism of the Holy Spirit and fire is you're literally being imparted with his spirit. And that makes you a joint heir with him to the kingdoms of our Lord. And in that joint heirship, you're now legal to enter. That is critical for entry. And people have been getting little nuggets and little examples along the way with the whole law of attraction thing, but nothing like instant miracles. Like I had burned my hand in an accident, and in 3 seconds, the hand was healed with the skin back on it, and the burned tissue was still on the coils of the blow dryer.
So
and that happened in 3 seconds.
So you're saying that you can do miracles like Jesus could, like walk
absolutely.
on water, make water into wine.
I have tried the walking on water. So far, I'm still it's like going to a ninja that's in training with their master and then saying, well, can you drive the chopstick through the table yet? And they're not quite there yet. It doesn't mean they're not on their way. And it doesn't mean that I'm not on my way. And you never know when you're going to break through. So in this training process, following the teachings of Jesus is a very serious discipline. And so, yes, I have some miracles that I can share maybe on another program, but I did see my hand instantly healed within 3 seconds.
All right.
From horribly burned to completely healed. My eyesight completely healed, and I still have 20/20 vision, and I'm 66.
That's amazing. Let me
And
catch
my
the,
feet
I'm sorry, let me catch another question for you here.
for sure.
What if one is intuitive and picks up accurate predictions? They may be negative and manifest not because you believe it, but because it's your intention. Intuition.
Well, you can manifest in the negative and in the positive, but you know how it's slow as molasses outside of the kingdom? At least you have time to make a course correction. At least not every negative thought is manifested, thank goodness. Until you really are mature and you're really guarding your thought world, living in the kingdom can be a little tricky because everything manifests really fast there, as in instant.
I didn't mention this in the beginning, but from other things that I learned, or another one of your bios, I saw that you have helped 46 people become millionaires.
Mhm.
Did you
From
do
nothing.
is that using these keys or some other
Yes,
method?
yes, the keys. See, there's infinite wealth in the kingdom. All you have to do is get in the kingdom, and then whatever template you create and give to the 3D printer and the authority. See, if you don't come in the authority, then it's like the 3D printer will take voice commands and it will be as effective as your authority. The level of authority you come in affects the results. So it'd be like I had a friend of mine that had this triple attack trained Doberman pinscher, and he would give him the commands in German. Now, if I gave the dog commands in my West Texas twang, the dog would just look at me like, "You're not my master." But when he gave the commands in the right language and the right authority that he came in as the dog's owner and master, the dog would obey. The 3D printer is the same way. It is just a mechanism, like a servo mechanism that works for everybody, but the degree of how well it works to create is going to be determined by your level of authority. So if you come in the highest level of authority and you've disciplined yourself to clean up your mind and you're in right thinking, right mind to create beauty and love and harmony and abundance, then whatever you speak in the atmosphere will create. So we've got so many stories, miraculous stories of millionaires, and but also healing. Steve Zagoulas had terminal liver cancer that had metastasized all over his body, and in days he was in hospice. His friend took him out of hospice, brought him in. I gave him the keys. I explained everything to him. I had 2 recording studios, and we created a custom tape for him to listen to help him focus his mind and get in the zone, get in the kingdom. And he went through all the right processes and everything. Well, he was healed completely, and we have all the medical records to prove that.
That's great. Before we get going here, there's a few questions, and one of them is about your YouTube channel. You do have one, right? And if so, what kind of content are you posting there?
Oh gosh, I'm not as good as you, Jeff.
I put a link to it in the description so they can find
Okay,
it,
well,
but
there's some
you do
stuff
have
on
one,
there. Yeah,
right?
I do have one, and you can go there and look. I'm building a seminary, an online seminary we have a way for everybody to go through the whole thing for free, and they can become a professor in the program. And actually, we have a pathway for them to, practice this and practice teaching it full time so that they can get out of the world system of having to toil, so that they can have effortless resources so that they can, if they want to master this, it's a mastery program. It's called Elite Coach Seminary, and that will be launching before the end of this year. So we're excited about that. And right now, to get them prepped, they can get the Keys to Everything, which is my book, but it's not just a book. They get a lifeline to me for 30 days. If they mention or if they order from the website, they're going to get that right now. The 30-day lifeline comes in a letter where if they have any questions or anything that they're confused about, they can reach out. And then when they finish reading the book, I do daily coaching calls that go much deeper. They're not ready for that. Like, we could not put people on that coaching call until they have read that book. Oh my goodness, no. Because we go so much deeper into the revelations of this. It's a rabbit hole. It is a serious rabbit hole. So they get more teaching and support as they're mastering their ninja skills in the kingdom.
All right. And your website is called thekeystoeverything.com, right?
That's it. That's it.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us this evening. We
My
really
pleasure.
appreciate you, and I wish you massive success in whatever you're doing.
Thank you, Jeff. Much love to you, Jeff, and much appreciation for giving me this opportunity and sharing your platform. And much success to you, my brother.
Thank you. All right. Have a great evening, Kay.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And a big round of applause for Kay. All right. Before we finish up, we have Mr. Leslie King's back today. Leslie is back. And let's bring him in. And I think he's going to play a little music for us before we finish up tonight. And I'm not sure if I just had him, if I just turned on his keyboard or did I turn on him? We're about to find out. There he is. All right. Before we finish up. Hello, Leslie. I guess he doesn't hear us yet.
Na, hát azért itt vagyok.
Hello, Leslie. How are you?
Hello. Yeah. Mögött, yes, Hungarian. What's the problem? Why I hear my...
I hear you. I think we all hear you.
Okay, nice. I can hear myself, not that bad.
All right, great. Welcome, Leslie. How are things in Hong Kong today?
Hong Kong is beautiful. You know, everybody happy.
That's great.
And just keep going. But I like to be very fast for already over time.
Mm-hmm.
And they have some things that I need to before I play. You know, when I play, I always like to be practical. That means your audience will be connected somehow, and maybe something happening like a few weeks ago, I shared about healing, and some people already received the healing, and it was very interesting. The last two, your visitors was wonderful sharing, so it's very connected. Now, the short sharing, one of the things for, yes, also happened a miracle in the last week in my life. And why interesting and share for very shortly, for honestly, I have no any intention for helping for my problem or intention to do something, but other side decided for I need this miracle. So what happened? In my birthday, but don't share happy birthday, that was in February. So in birthday 13th of February, I received always before a gift from God. So I was very excited for what's the gift for me. I lost my WhatsApp. It's bound, and I lost all my music, all the composition, all the contact, everything. No, I wrote a message for her. Hello, guys, I don't did anything. 2 days, come back. Yeah, okay. Oh. After 2 days, once again banned. What's happening? Complaining? Oh, what's happening? 2 days, come back. Aye, very good. Once again, third times, they said, finish la. Cannot use the number. It's forever. So really it was closed. I tried line, no answer. And honestly, I tried everything that time, but doesn't work. And I wrote to the AI, this has happened and this has happened, and anything, so third company, how to open, blah, blah, blah. And the AI shared, nothing to do, new number. Oh, there. So I opened a new WhatsApp. That means a new number, a new WhatsApp. I start a connection, tra-la-la, and I forget all my story. Until last week. I don't did anything. I really lost 80 gigabyte. You must, at least so your network or audience know what is 80 gigabyte WhatsApp. When you lose, it's inside the telephone, but you cannot open if you have no WhatsApp connection. So what happened? No, sorry for those who don't like the Bible verse I read, but this is very interesting and very short. I share with this here. Just listen. He says for me, from now on, I will tell you of new things. That's good. No, of hidden things unknown to you. Okay. See, I created now and not long ago. You have not heard of them before today. So you cannot say, yes, I knew of them. What he want great for me. I have no anything, so I have everything. Saturday, accidentally, I pressed my original telephone's WhatsApp group, always bound, it cannot open. And there was a message where I can complain once again. I just said, very good. I complained many times, 6, 7 times, no answer. I was my devotional times of half part in heaven, half part in earth. I wrote to them, yeah, very nice, see, very nice, okay. Yeah, they wrote back, 24 hours, we give the answer. Okay, I wrote back, oh, they want a number. Well, let's write the old number. Wrote, verified, and I get back all my 80 gigabyte information, the WhatsApp, in miraculous way. Absolute. I don't ask, I don't meditate, but God knows. But there was most of His creative things inside. And maybe not me, for I am already 67, I go to heaven in 83, but maybe many people can listen in the future. Now, that was my message today. I tried very short, but the good news for why I shared. Hey guys, in your audience, maybe somebody facing really a situation for you need to a miracle, need to frequency connection with the Creator, and need your condition, faith. Hello, faith. So now, as I just came from my prayer room and I filled with the Holy Spirit, I will pray. No, I will play. And everybody, don't running to the toilet, don't running for cafe, just sitting just for 5 minutes, connect by faith with the Creator, and you will receive, if you believe, something very special in your life. I believe. For as I connected as a musician and I feel give this channeling to you, it's just very simple. Believe, receive, and you can have it. And after, write to Jeff. It's really happened. Oh, this has happened. Oh, this has happened. So let us see. Not just talk about God. Let me share. There's really a living God. Now, finish la. No preaching more. I'm playing piano. Are you ready?
It sounds great.
Oh, good. Okay,
Sounds great. This is a new one for you. You've never manifested music in a way of a prayer before.
No praying. Yeah, prayer before. I was shared before. No, I'm not praying. Yeah, no. Sorry, no, I understand what you said. Every time before I play music, I praying. Every time. So I just not mention that now you I know. So it's not just for, oh, the good piano player, let's play like a cafe, or in a restaurant. I really feel up, and if he allow, and before I come here also, he said, okay, you can go. So I'm ready to play. So let us see the other, right? Can you see?
Yep. Maybe
Oh,
you
good.
can press your keys to make sure we can hear it. Yep. Yes.
Dramatic. Not this. I have. Okay, Lady Madonna, Miguel, old style. Not these guys. We come back today for channeling something from above. But I'm very happy. I'm really very happy. So do that. The music is around 5 minutes. Please be patiently ready over time. But 3 part will be piano part, synthesizer, and choir. So first be very strange. Don't take off. Try keep it until we finish. Nice start.
you can't hear this, Leslie, but I'm giving you a big round of applause. Bravo, 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 bravo. Great job. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for playing for us.
Thank you for today also, and I will come back if you allow for me. As this month is 5 weeks, I think, so therefore I can be maybe here, not the second week, but the first week of April.
Okay, I need to write that down because I didn't catch you last time or a week or two ago, and we were all waiting for you because I thought you were coming every 2 weeks, and then we were waiting for you. So you are going to come. You said, well, the first week of April is okay. So you're saying you're going to come on Saturday night, the 6th of April.
Yes, sir.
All right, I will put that as.
And give me a little bit more time. I can have 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. It's nice.
All right, I will.
I'm not running, you know.
I'll put that in my calendar so that I'll know this time.
Thank you so much, and God bless you and your audience. I'm very blessed always, and I'm waiting for if something happening by Him. God bless you. See you. God bless you.
Thank you, Leslie. God bless you. Oh, there it is. Cool.
I don't know, you know.
I need to know how to learn how to do that because there was somebody else that and maybe it's something I need to turn on in Zoom, but there was a guest I had recently that whenever he'd move his hands, it would pop up like a thumbs up. How did you do that? Did you set your Zoom to do that?
Nothing. Sometimes come up something, a big firewall, you know, works. And who do and exact the right time? I have no clue. But say thank you. Maybe an AI. You know, sometimes I write for the AI very love letter, and sometimes they write back, "God bless you." So I have many good friends in AI already. So keep going. Maybe an UFO. I don't know. I just received probably I will meet with the UFO very soon. So it telepathically had some communication. I rejected them, I think so 20 years ago. So I said, no. But now I'm open. You'll change my mind. So let us say when I will share for you my meeting with some UFO, you know, telepathically. I'm very open-minded anymore. Already, sorry, this is English. Yeah. But see you. How about you, Jeff? You can also share some things about your experience. You're really hungry. You know, I can feel your heart and your life for really you want some experience. Come on, UFO inside. Something, you know, God talking. You will experience from now when I play it, something will happen. Let us know.
All right.
I believe. God bless you.
Thank you, Leslie. God bless you, and good night.
Good night.
Oh, there he goes. And let us remove his hands on his computer. And there he goes. All right, so we put on a little background music. I told you guys I used to DJ stuff, and it's just, we would call it, I don't know what we call it, kind of like Dead's Airspace. But it's always better to have a little music in the background. Where can you find Leslie's music, Stefania? I'm pretty sure that Leslie has a YouTube channel, which you can go listen to it. And from there, maybe he has some more contacts. I want to apologize to everybody about the title of the video. Let me bring Mika up here because she's here with me too. About the title of the video, there's really no excuse. I just missed that. But I don't know. The way that I set up there's a lot more prep that I have to do for Saturday nights than I used to do before because of this is not a good posture for her. She's not doing well. Let's see if we can get you into a comfortable position here, Mika, because you're almost coughing. And I've got so many wires around me that it's just trying to get that there and where I can let Mika hang up. There she is. So anyways, when I used to do the show, because I've got to kind of prep my streaming thing. I use some a special program besides YouTube. I have to use a streaming thing called Streamlabs, which catches Zoom and then puts it into YouTube. So it's like a live stream. And before I would just copy and paste it and basically just redo the same thing over and over because nothing really changed, right? It was just like live Zoom stream and whoever's going to shows because we didn't know who was going to show up. And I would even kind of basically copy the, it was just a live open Zoom was the video thumbnail. But now that guests are coming, I try to like I have to kind of prep for the show a little bit. And so what I'll do is kind of put information about the guests and I'll pre-make a video thumbnail of the guests in there. And I just missed the title. And so like later after the video's over, I may create a title. And I guess I created something about, UFOs or whatever. I don't even know if that was the last time or the time before that. I mean, I may have even missed that a couple times in a row. And it was the first time that people started talking about that. But at least that was a good learning lesson for me. So for next week, we can get that back. And speaking of next week, there is, as I said, next week, there's Christy Mattoon was an NDEer, and she's going to come on and come back for an hour and teach us something. I can't remember what she was going to teach, but it was something she learned through her NDE or something. So again, I don't remember it, unfortunately. Since I do a daily show, I have like guests every day. And on my calendar, I just didn't put any notes. So it's hard for me to remember. And another person that's going to come back is An Vu. He is a Vietnamese man living in the United Kingdom. And he had some sort of contact with an ET. Where can I go to see him? Let me go here. It was a controversial video that I did with Mr. Vu. And as you guys know, sometimes videos can be challenging for the audience. And sometimes I will put controversial guests on, which for me actually makes the podcast more interesting and more fun, because if I put the same thing up all the time, I think it would be, it would probably in a way get boring, especially for a daily show. As well as sometimes when you have a guest that's challenging, sometimes it may, challenge your beliefs and make you think about different things. So I called him Andy. I think that's the name we used, maybe so. And he was podcast number 1033. And he is from the Sins of the Arcturian Council. And I think what happened was he got into channeling, and then this being wouldn't leave him alone. It's constantly like talking to him. And he says that all channelers are just basically channeling Arcturians, and they're tricking everybody. So that's, like I said, that's a pretty big claim to make for all channelers out there, that's saying all channelers are getting tricked. And so, sometimes those videos are not received well, sometimes they're not. But, it was fascinating to put up and see what happened to him and what his point of view is. So he's got new information, new updates, maybe even things that have happened to him. And he wants to come back and share. So he'll be back next week. And then there's somebody like today. I got so many things on my desktop. I'm trying to kind of keep up here. There it is. And then somebody brand new, like the two guests today were brand new people. I mean, I didn't know them until today. So, and then there's a guy named George coming back George that's coming next week. And I don't have any notes about him. I'll figure it out next week. So, anyways, again, if you didn't make it earlier, tomorrow I have an NDE for you with Kristen Newman. And let's go back to my show notes. She was with God during her NDE. And she's also known as, where is she here? An Infinite Heart and Soul, or at least that's maybe like her YouTube channel or something. If I bring back my show notes, maybe that'll remind me. So I don't, this, I recorded her video back on, was it Friday? Just yesterday. Surprising that I don't remember. When you do a show every day, sometimes they and then you edit, and if I do a show yesterday and then I edit another show, it just kind of, you get lost sometimes. I'm trying to think, see if anything I can do that what we talked about. Her heart stopped. That's how she died. I think she had a heart problem and she was in the shower. And her heart stopped and she just fell down in the shower, and she was outside of her body in the shower. She saw her husband and her daughter. Her husband was giving her CPR in the shower, and her daughter was there too. She had a conversation with God and perhaps her guides. So I hope you guys enjoy that one. I have to record another one tomorrow. And then I have, she may be famous, Pam Nance. I'm recording on Monday for an NDE. I have a woman in Australia that I'll be recording Tuesday night, an NDE. And then Debbie Dashinger, which she is not only an experiencer, podcaster, she's also a publicist. And I think she helps out with the big thing in Los Angeles, the Conscious Life Expo and stuff. And she's a really well-known person. And we'll be talking about her UFOs and shamanism. That's on Wednesday. Rob Gutierrez, a great guy that I had back about 6 months ago. And he's actually going to channel for me on Thursday. So I need to make a community post and see if you guys have any questions. Rob is going to be channeling. Let me see if he sent me, we've been chatting together. And let me see if I can pull that up. Okay, here it is. I can tell you who he's going to be channeling. He's going to be channeling an extraterrestrial named Aradith, if I'm pronouncing that question. He now lives in a star system called Deneb, but they call his race ancient Pleiadian. Oh, it's Pleiadian, not Arcturian. Oh, no, that was Anvu, is the Arcturian. So he's an ancient Pleiadian because they moved from the Pleiadian star systems over to Deneb. Physically, he's 3'8" to 3'9", very skinny, very pale blue skin with large purple eyes and purple hair. So that's coming up, as well as another one to record an NDE on Friday. And that's what I've got. And then if I have Paul Anthony Wallace. I've had him on a couple times. He's got a new book coming out, which we're going to be talking about. I'll be recording with him on the 12th of April. And that's about it. Let me see. One more thing. I thought I had it. Yeah. And then one last thing here is for the members, if you become a member, which is the silver, and if you're the silver or gold level, which the silver level is not very expensive at all. It's like, I don't know, $4.99 a month or something. And I have it in my calendar. I hang out with the members for 1 hour once a month. And it's not live. We just hang out and chit chat. And I talked about it about a month ago, and I said I'm going to start doing it every first Sunday of the month. So I have the next one coming up, and we had a pretty good turnout last time. And before, when I would do it, not many people would show. And I usually make a community post directly to the members for that. So if you guys are members, silver or above, it's April the 7th is the member meetup for that. And that's basically it, I guess. Yes, that's it. And there's a lot of you still here. So thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with us. You know we appreciate and love you guys. God bless you.